He saw a beggar at midnight. It was the girl who said, "I don't need you." The streetlights flickered in the cold midnight air, casting long shadows across the empty alley. Michael walked briskly, hands buried deep in his coat pockets, trying to ignore the chill and the uneasy feeling crawling up his spine. That's when he saw her. A figure crouched near a dumpster wrapped in tattered blankets. A faint whimper escaped her lips, barely audible over the distant hum of traffic. His first instinct was to walk past. It was late, and he had been warned about walking alone at night. But something in her posture, the way she shivered despite the layers of cloth, made him stop. "Are you okay?" he asked, cautiously approaching. The girl looked up, eyes wide and haunted, and for a moment he thought she might scream or run. Instead, she whispered almost defiantly, "I don't need you." Michael froze. The words were sharp, unexpected, but there was something vulnerable behind them too. He knelt beside her, lowering his voice to match hers. "I'm not here to take anything from you. I just want to help." She studied him for a long moment, the faint glow of a nearby street lamp catching the tears on her cheeks. "No one helps for free," she said, her voice trembling. "Everyone wants something in return." Michael shook his head gently. "Not me. I know what it's like to feel invisible." Something shifted in her eyes. She hesitated, then slowly allowed him to sit next to her. They sat in silence for a few minutes, the city's noise fading into the background. Michael offered her the sandwich and water he had in his bag, and for the first time she took them without a word. As she ate, she started talking, quietly at first. Her name was Emma, 16, orphaned after a fire had destroyed her home. She'd been on the streets for weeks, surviving day by day, learning that trust was a luxury she couldn't afford. Michael listened, offering nothing but his presence. Hours passed unnoticed, and by the first light of dawn, Michael helped her to her feet. "You don't have to go back to the streets today," he said. "There's a shelter not far from here. Warm meals, a bed. People who care." She shook her head, the old defiance flickering back. "I don't need you. I can do this myself." Michael smiled softly. "I know. But even the strongest people sometimes need a hand to hold, just for a moment." For the first time in days, Emma allowed herself a small smile. She walked with him step by step until the shelter doors opened before her. Before entering, she turned and said quietly, "Thank you. I think I might just need this." Michael watched her go, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the cold night. In that moment, he realized that kindness isn't always about changing someone's life entirely. Sometimes it's about giving them just enough hope to take the next step themselves. As he walked back into the quiet streets, the shadows no longer seemed so heavy, and he understood that even in the loneliest corners, humanity could shine through, quietly, unexpectedly, and profoundly. Keynotes: strong hook, streetlight, alley, midnight, mysterious girl, relatable themes, kindness, trust, humanity. Emotional twist: the girl initially rejects help, showing real-world defensiveness and independence. Climax: accepting help and small victory of hope. Positive ending: empowerment. Hope, humanity shines. Michael walked home as the city slowly woke, the chill fading with the first rays of sunlight. But Emma's words, "I don't need you," and kept echoing in his mind. There was strength in her defiance, and yet beneath it a fragility he couldn't forget. Over the next few days, Michael found himself thinking about her constantly. He returned to the streets where he'd first met her, hoping for another glimpse, but she was nowhere to be found. He realized then that helping someone isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about being there, even if just for one night, to remind them they're not invisible. Weeks later, Michael received a small envelope slid under his apartment door. Inside was a simple drawing of a girl, smiling shyly, holding a small cardboard sign that read, "Thank you." On the back, a note in neat handwriting. "I didn't need anyone. But maybe, sometimes, a little kindness is enough to change everything." Emma. Michael felt a lump in his throat. She had taken that first step, and he knew she would continue to find her way. In that moment, he understood the true power of compassion. It doesn't force change, it simply plants the seed. Months passed, and the city's streets remained the same, busy, noisy, indifferent. Yet Michael noticed subtle shifts around him. A man who usually ignored the homeless now offered a cup of coffee. A mother handed her child a sandwich for a boy waiting outside a convenience store. One small act, he realized, could ripple out in ways no one could measure. Then one crisp autumn morning, Michael walked past the shelter near the alley and saw her. Emma, taller now, carrying herself with quiet confidence. She looked up and smiled, and this time there was no defiance in her eyes, only gratitude, strength, and a flicker of hope. "I'm okay now," she said, voice steady, "and I'm going to be okay too. Thanks to you."